In your opinion, when you look at a river like this, what do you see? Well, if you don't see anything but water and a lot of ordinary stones, you should know that in the eyes of a professional prospector, this river is a great opportunity to find precious stones of the highest value. Now you might be wondering, but how does a prospector find these stones? Well, the answer is easier than it seems, because in this video you'll see how it is possible to find gems in rivers. That's right, especially if you live near a river or if you like to go for walks in nature near the water's edge. These places are usually full of small stones and minerals, and it's in these places, among the ordinary stones, that you can find precious gems disguised as ordinary stones. So it's best to keep an eye out. What's more, this is not only true for rivers. Some gems can appear on some beaches or in dry river areas that haven't had water for a long time. And if you think about it, the image of prospectors is directly associated with rivers, where they seem to be looking for something valuable. But why is there this idea of prospectors looking for gems in the river? Can't they find gems somewhere else? Well, this reference exists for two reasons. Firstly, there is a certain ease in looking for precious stones and metals in these environments. And secondly, these precious metals and gems can be found in any river, meaning that you can only find out if there are valuable minerals if you go there to look. So let us know in the comments if you've seen any of the stones I'm about to show you in any river you've been to. But what precious stones can you find in rivers? Well, to put it bluntly, the good news is that you can find almost all of the 150 mineral gemstones that have already been cataloged. So it's good to know what these rough minerals look like in nature. Normally, most stones found in rivers have very similar characteristics, such as this semi-rounded appearance with semi-polished edges. This is due to thousands of years of friction between some stones and others, as if the water itself were naturally polishing them. So it's common for them to have this smoother appearance. The most common stones in all the world's rivers are quartz and stones in the quartz family. They can come in a variety of colors and shades, and in most cases are full of inclusions and have no commercial value. But among these quartzes, you can find gem-quality quartzes, such as rolled crystals that are transparent, like smoky quartz, green quartz, blue quartz, rose quartz, dendritic quartz, and hematite quartz. Keep in mind that these stones can be somewhat rounded and worn from friction, and may even go unnoticed at a quick glance. So if you like to pick up small stones, keep an eye out. In addition to these stones, you can find other stones that are also in the quartz family, such as jaspers of various types and colors, which are nothing more or less than petrified wood, as well as the beautiful orange-red agates that we talked about in the previous video. On the other hand, even though quartz crystals don't have a very high value in most cases, if you find pieces that are good enough to cut, you should know that you can sell them for around $20 a kilo, as is the case with well-colored carnelian agates. In addition, it's not difficult to collect a good quantity of stones, as they are relatively common in rivers. If a stone is clean and crystal clear inside, it can be cut and valued at about 10 times more, like a smoky crystal, for example. Another type of gemstone found in rivers is topaz. They are usually transparent, slightly bluish or yellowish, and can have a transparent frosted crystal appearance due to the wear and tear caused by time. It can look similar to quartz crystal in some cases, but the difference is that topaz is much heavier and also much harder than quartz, which means that if you rub one stone against another, a topaz will not be scratched by an ordinary quartz stone. And if it's broken in a corner, it will show much more brilliance than a quartz crystal. When in doubt, try holding two stones of similar size and comparing their weight with a stone you already know is quartz. If you're still in doubt, use the simple relative density test that we show you how to perform using ordinary precision scales in our ebook available at the link below. Since topaz is heavier than quartz because it has a higher density, the density of quartz is about 2.6, while topaz can average 3.5. But how much can a topaz stone be worth? This depends on the quality of the stone, but normally topaz stones can be sold for an average of $20 to $25 per kilo. If the topaz stones that you found are bluer in color and of a higher quality, they can go for more than $200 per kilo. Cut topaz stones are very beautiful and highly prized as jewelry. Now take a look at this little stone. Garnet is the name of this precious stone that can be found quite easily in rivers. Garnets can be found in all colors, but the most common is red, which usually has a burgundy hue. In some places it is also called Cape Ruby, but despite this nickname, it is not a ruby. The garnet forms in nature as a crystalline dodecahedron figure, almost rounded, so it's common to find river garnets with almost rounded shapes. Rolled river garnets can have a grayish color or sometimes a brownish color, even a bright red. These stones are quite heavy for their size. If you find one, it will be hard to mistake it because the difference between a garnet and most other stones is very large. The value of garnets increases according to the intensity of the red and whether it is more translucent on the inside. If you are lucky enough to find a pure translucent garnet, you can be sure that once cut, the market value of this gem can exceed $40 per gram. Sapphires are also stones that can be found in rivers, including dried-up rivers that have been dry for thousands of years. These stones can come in any shade or color. When a sapphire has a red or purple color, it is called a ruby. In other words, rubies and sapphires are actually the same stone, known in scientific circles as corundum, but we call the red stones rubies and all the other sapphires, regardless of their color. These stones have a hardness of 9 on the Mohs scale and are second only to diamonds in hardness. Sapphires and rubies are not as common as other stones in rivers. What may have happened is that some of these stones have become detached from the original rocks over the years. And because they are heavier stones, they may end up in lower places like the riverbed. The best places to look for these gemstones are in Sri Lanka, Myanmar, and India, where they are of impressive quality. But even there, lesser quality stones, like those found here in the United States, can cost upwards of $800 a kilo. And clean stones, like those found in Sri Lanka, can fetch more than $20,000 a gram. I know it can be cool to find all these precious stones. But what about diamonds? Do you have a chance of finding diamonds in the rivers near you? Well, in case you didn't know, the answer is yes. And just out of curiosity, you should know that it's much easier to find a diamond worth millions of dollars than it is to win the lottery. In that case, you might be thinking, I'm going to the first river I can find to look for diamonds. But calm down, my young prospector. I've heard it's possible, after all. Who's to say today isn't your lucky day? But it's not that easy. Diamonds worth millions of dollars are very rare. That's because diamonds are formed in the center of the earth, where it's hot and there's enough pressure to crystallize the carbon. Once formed, they are ejected onto the Earth's surface by great volcanic eruptions. They are then carried by the action of time until they reach the riverbed, where they can travel long distances and end up on the beach. To give you an idea, some miners can spend several years in some rivers to find a single diamond valuable enough to change someone's financial life. So there's nothing to stop you from getting lucky and finding a diamond by chance. But how can you identify a diamond? First, you can watch our video on diamonds, or you can check out our exclusive book on gems, where there is a completely exclusive module on diamonds for an ultra-affordable price. So if you're a curious person, I advise you to venture into the rivers in your area, and I hope with all my heart that you will find many precious stones. I think after watching this video, you will start to pay more attention to the stones you find out there, don't you? So if you've made it this far, let me know what country you're from in the comments and take the opportunity to learn how to find diamonds in nature by watching this video or clicking on the first link in the description. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Good luck, gem hunters.